Deezy?
Hey, what's going on, Miss Betty? We on live. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody doing? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Everybody in the chat here, we doing good, and we appreciate you calling in.
Well, thank you. First, before I get started, I want to tell everybody happy holidays. Okay, ours was a little bit dim, but we still hopeful. Things are looking up. Okay, so happy holidays to everybody. I hope you all enjoy it, and I want to thank you, DZ, for giving me this opportunity to get back on live because again, my son is not available this time to speak up for himself. So particularly with WAC doing the talking that he did, I'd like just an opportunity. I won't be too long this time, but just to share some words with WAC and also to share with your audience the truth of what's actually going on with my son.
Okay, and we appreciate that. Happy holidays to your family. I know it's not so happy because a lot of things are going on, but hopefully things will go in your favor, his favor, and things will get better.
Okay, thank you. We are really very hopeful. We're really very hopeful. But WAC is what I want to first address. Is that okay?
Yeah, you do what you want to
Okay.
do. We here for it.
Oh, okay. And audience, please bear with me. But I want to say this particularly to WAC. WAC, I have 4 words for you, and they are listen to me closely. I want to begin with truth because you have a lot of problems with truth. And I need you to know that truth does not need theatrics. And you put a lot of theatrics into your words. Truth do not need to be exaggerated. And truth certainly does not need to be fabricated for views on the internet. I know you, WAC. I've seen you over the years and how you've acted. When you can't win with facts, you fall back on lies and fabricated stories, and you hurt a lot of people online because you just decide whatever you want to say, you're going to put it out there in hopes that people will just accept it. I don't even think you care if they believe it or not, but you're going to put it out there. And I want to say you're extremely fortunate that you have not already been held liable for the lies that you continue to spread about my son. But see, today, WAC, I'm here to again speak on behalf of my son, Jay Diggs, because he is not here to confront your most recent fabricated lies. I'm stepping in to address each one of them because I listened to the show last week, to DZ's show, SBGC TV last week, and I heard exactly what you said. So what I want to do is I want to address some of that information that you said last week. But before I do, I want to just back up just a little bit because we need to really know who you are and what you said in regards to my son, Jay Diggs. First of all, you were the first one who ever said anything negative on him. You were the one who poked the bear. You were the one who went out there and started talking about Jay Diggs and what you was gonna do and what his mama should be doing. You did it, WAC. Okay, you claimed that you didn't know him later on, but you were the one who poked the bear. And then you turned around and you told the whole world that you didn't even know this man. You never talked to him. You never dealt with him. You never had any interactions with him. You keep saying that. You said it last week. You said it week before. You said it last year. Yet you also were the same person who held up fake text messages and told the entire internet that they came from Jay Diggs. Now, that alone destroys your own narrative that you said you never even spoke to him. So see, right there, that's your own lies. And since we're clearing up on stories, let's talk about when you said that Jay Diggs never came to the Mexican house. And I'm not into street politics, but I am going to address it just because you said it. You said Jay Diggs never came to the Mexican house when I was there just 1 block away. But you left out a very important part. Jay Diggs came to your place of business, okay? That's as much as street politics that I want to get to. But I just want to clear that up, okay? So that everybody know you're saying one thing, but really we know other things happen. Now, let's get to the case. Everybody knows that recently my son was uh, was actually in court and he was found guilty. And we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. But I want to address what you said about it since you're so smart. You told the whole internet that he was facing 40 years on a major case in Oklahoma. That claim came from one person, only you. Nobody else anywhere ever said that. Not the courts, not the paperwork, not the lawyers, not the news, nobody. I never even heard it at all. It's just absurd. The truth is simple. There is no 40-year case. There's no major conspiracy. And even the marijuana matter that you attempted to inflate, the storyline doesn't even make sense that he would get 40 years for marijuana. Oh, again, we're going to get to that here in just a few minutes, okay? Let's talk about you insulting his age. Let me tell you something, Wack. Age is a privilege that is denied to too many in our community. And the 4.5 years or maybe 5 years difference between you and my son is something you will feel very, very soon. You're going to reach those years. You got about 4 or 5 years to reach his age. So are you knocking that? Let me tell you, this is a blessing to reach this age, particularly for our young Black men. It is a living long life that you should appreciate. I appreciate his years. I'm sure he appreciates his years, and he carries his years with dignity, and you should too. Okay, I'm gonna calm down just a little bit because I'm starting to get too into this whole thing about you, Wack, because it really upsets me that you would just decide that now that he's not out here to take care of himself and speak up for himself, that you can just say anything. And especially things about him being relevant in his field. That's one of the other things that you brought up. You said that Jay Diggs is not even relevant, haven't been relevant in his fields. Let me tell you something. Jay Diggs is selling in over 131 countries. He's been relevant for over 22 years. He reaches audiences all over the world, okay? And I'm not going to compare him to you because I'm not petty like that. He don't need you to define him. He defines himself very, very well. He didn't need your name for any clout, okay? In fact, the little 1.6 million, and I shouldn't say little because I appreciate the fans that did go on and look at it on Three Finger Whack, on that one that so much attention was given to. There's a lot more that had many more millions of views, 2.6, 6 million views. Look them up yourself. And I suggest anybody who have heard Wax said that Jay Diggs wasn't relevant and don't have millions of views, I think all we have to do is look for ourselves and that we'll see that that's not true. Okay. And so, again, like I said, Wax, your theatrics are just not doing you very well, okay? So now that I mentioned that and I addressed it, Whack, and they're just lies, okay? I'm going to go ahead and address this for the audience. And thank you, audience out there, for even listening to me. I know I kind of get upset there, but let's go ahead and really talk about the case itself. Wack claimed that Jay Diggs was caught in a big drug case and facing 40 years, but that's not true. Basically what happened was my son was stopped 5 years ago and he was in the car with one of his friends. I'm not going to say her name for respect for her. Okay, you can always look it up if you want to know it. But Jay Diggs and his friend was in a car and they were in Oklahoma. He was driving, going to a video shoot, and this friend was going to be in the video shoot with him. Okay, Jay Diggs was stopped for a blinker lane change citation, as the policeman says. But as my son indicated, he said, I saw red lights behind me, so I pulled over really quick to let the cop pass. Well, the cops, when he finally came up to him, he says, I'm stopping you because you made a lane change and you made it too quick. And we know that there's not even a law for that, okay? Well, when he walked up to the car, he indicated that he smelled marijuana. this, he felt, gave him a right to inspect the car. Okay, gave him probable cause to inspect the car. So he brought out the dogs. He inspected the car, and in the course of inspecting the car, he did find 4 pounds of what was assumed to be marijuana. Okay, well, my son and his friend were taken in, and they were held, I think, for a couple of hours before they were bailed out. But then there was charges brought against them. Okay, the charges that were actually brought against them were four charges, and those charges were number one, conspiracy. Number two, uh, conspiracy to, no, number two was attempt to sell. Number three was having marijuana without a stamp on it, and a legal stamp on it. And number four was, how do they say it? Possession of money that was, uh, possession that was money from sales of drugs. Okay, so those were the four. I'm sorry if I didn't make them real clear. But anyway, the truth of the matter is his co-defendant, she, 4 years ago, fessed up and said, that was my drugs. I brought them. I put them in the car when he picked me up. Okay. And she accepted a plea from the DA. The DA said, okay, you get 2 years of probation, and we're going to drop count two. Count two was, I think, intent to sell, and another count. Well, anyway, they had dropped two charges, 2 counts on her, gave her probation. Not only did they give her probation, she served the probation. Now, this was 5 years ago. I'm sorry I didn't mention. This case happened 5 years ago. So 2 years into it, she gets probation, 2 years of probation, and she's off of her probation. 5 years later, they still trying to give my son 8 years, 5 to 8 years of probation. And he's telling them, no, I'm not taking probation because it wasn't my drugs in the first place. It wasn't my marijuana in the first place. And secondly, I'm not going on probation for something that I didn't do, and you already charged somebody else for it. So, I just go to trial. I'm not going on probation. And one of the things, I worried about my son not accepting a plea or going on probation, but he was right. It wasn't his, and he decided that he didn't want to go on probation. And he's been there before, and it's very hard, particularly in his business, being an artist, where every moment you have to write, or you can't move here, you can't even work anymore. And he just didn't want to be trapped anymore. Okay, so he felt, man, I can go to court and beat this. This is crazy. Well, he goes to court, and when he goes to court 5 years later, mind you, okay, he goes to court, and when he gets to court, there's a jury trial, and of course, the jury has to be polled. There was one black woman in the jury, and that one black woman was the first one. Immediately, goodbye, get off. Okay, they kicked her off. Not kicked her off, didn't let her get on. Okay, the next person that was that was removed from the jury was a young white man, and he stood up and he said, "I'm a Christian," and he said, "and I don't smoke marijuana." He says, "But I'll be honest, I would not feel comfortable giving a man many years for marijuana in this state, especially when I've seen a man get 2 years for killing somebody." So of course they threw him off. So now they have their all-white jury. Okay, so the jury trial goes on. Actually, Jamal was feeling pretty good. The lady who was with him, and by the way, I want to address some of the people online have been saying she snitched. No, she didn't. She didn't snitch. She went on stand and she testified for the defense. She testified on behalf of Jamal that in fact it was her. She said the same thing that she said 2 years ago and took the probation for. Okay. Now, so finally, the jury goes out. Jamal's feeling good. He doesn't think, hey, they can't really do anything. I feel fine. But when he come back, they found him guilty on all charges. On all charges. And here again, the conspiracy was 4 years. the minimum, okay? The minimum 4 years of life on this conspiracy, 4 years to life on intent to sell, 4 years to life on the no stamp on the product, and 6 years for drug money in drug money in your possession. Okay. Now we're not gonna replay the whole trial, but I mean there was a lot of things that went wrong in that trial. But I will say this, just so that you know, because it's gonna come out anyway. That 4 pounds of marijuana that supposedly they had, 4.5 pounds. Well, 3.1 pounds of it was confirmed scientifically to be CBD. Another 1/4 pound of it was confirmed to be THCA. Both of those products are legal. At that time, there was no test that could prove any THC level. So I want you guys to just think that out. I can't replay his case on the radio, but think that out. So that's what my son went to jail for. Okay. So what they did is they found him guilty. When they found him guilty, the and you can see this online, so I'm not telling you anything that I heard his case. The jury came back, said guilty, 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 and then they said, okay, what is your recommended sentence? The jury recommended that he be fined on each account. So they asked the judge. They sent a note to the judge and said, do we get the minimum or do we have to get the maximum on the fines? The judge said, no, no, no. Go back and do his priors. And let me tell you, his priors were 33 years ago and 12 years ago. I want you guys to look it up and see exactly what happened to my son, because I don't want to say it on the radio. Okay, so the judge sent him back and did that. The jury that wanted to give him only a fine came back and gave him the minimum of each one, which was 4 years, 4 years, 4 years, and 6 years. Okay, in the 6 years, by the way, the co-defendant had $12,000 in her possession. My son has $2,000 in his pocket. And just knowing my son walk around with $2,000 all the time, you know. But they said they decided that was drug money. And so that's what he got 6 years for. Okay. So they took him in, held him into custody, and now he's waiting to appeal. He's waiting to get sentenced because the final sentence will come from the judge, and that won't happen until December the 16th. And so that's where the case is right now. And I hope I haven't spoke too long. Thank you, DZ.
No, you good, Miss Betty. Yeah, that's good to clarify it, letting the people know what exactly is going on, because a lot of these people have been on the internet, making up things, and everybody's speculating, and they really don't know what's going on. So by you telling everybody what it is and where it stands, that just clarifies everything about the situation.
Right. And all of this can be verified. It's all verifiable. It's all right there. Yeah.
Yeah. And WACK been hating on J Diggs for a long time now. So, he feels that he's able to spin the narrative about everything and anybody. And, he goes to the internet reaching, as what he did with the girl that was trying to say some negative false things
exactly,
about J Diggs.
Exactly. And you know what? That girl is there again. And I refuse to listen to her. I refuse to. But people call me and they tell me stuff. But she's there again, and now she's straight making up lies, that he attacked her, did all kinds of crazy stuff, And, if he would have did something like that, he would have went to jail for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just decided I'm not going to even address that, but yeah, I heard that. And I will say this, all you wonderful fans out there, I have not entertained any of that stuff. The only show I listen to is DZ's. That's it. And that's why I heard it.
And I appreciate you, and we all appreciate you here definitely for rocking with us.
Okay, well, thank you. And as far as all that other, I see the headlines where Wax said this, and I see all kind of headlines he have on JDX. I have not pushed the button on it. And
Yeah.
had I not listened to your show, I would not have even known what he had to say. But the 40 years, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's what he said. 40 years. And I said, yeah, I gotta let you get on there and speak about it because I know he ain't get 40 years.
No, actually, I mean, do the math with basically they throw 18 years out there, but even with 18 years, the way they're doing in Oklahoma, they're breaking those years down a different way. So, but we think, without a doubt, we have a great appeal. I really want to say that. I feel very comfortable in saying that. And I'm going to tell you, Jay Diggs' mama is going to rock with him all the way. I'm going to Oklahoma City December the 3rd to see my child.
Yeah, and as you should, you're very supportive of him, and that's good that you speaking on his behalf, letting it know what it really is.
Yes, yes. And so I appreciate the opportunity. If you
Yeah.
have any questions, I'm open to answering them, DZ. But
Um.
that's really all I had.
Yeah. We appreciate it. So you said it was in December when he goes for the sentencing, right?
December the 16th. Yes. And immediately after that, we will be filing the appeal. Immediately.
Okay. And you already done some research, so you already know how you want to go at the appeal.
Oh my God, there is so much to appeal in this court. But again, that's what I don't want to say on the radio,
Yeah.
because then that gives them the idea of what they can and cannot do, cleaning up or whatever. So I won't bring that up other than
Gotcha.
what was already written. But there's so much. It's almost ridiculous. It's
Gotcha.
like, I guess here's just even think about this. How do someone plead to a case, do the time or do the probation or whatever, and then you go back 5 years and decide, no, it's him, get him? How do you do that?
Yeah, that obviously let it be known that they was targeting him, especially when they already have someone that pled guilty and took ownership to it. So that was them targeting him in that situation.
And then again, how do you tell somebody you're gonna get 6 years for drug money, but you've never seen this person pass no drug money to nobody? Okay, you never seen that. Nobody has any of that. And then you take in 4.5 pounds of weed and they find out that half of it ain't weed, and you make sure the other half is. Okay, so you start thinking about that kind of stuff. Then I tell people, just make your own judgment there, and start thinking, you know, does this really make sense
Right.
scientifically? And then you have to say, I know there's somebody saying out there saying, come on, what about his lawyer? Suppression. Why he didn't suppress that? That's another thing. So he
Yeah.
got a good appeal.
Yeah. And also, um, the marijuana that was found in her
It was in
possession.
her possession, in her purse, in
Okay.
her female bag. Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't something that was put there. Okay. And not only that, even when the they searched the car, I was saying the probable cause to search the car, they probably smelled it, but they didn't smell no marijuana. The man didn't smell marijuana as soon as he came to the car, but it was probably from inside.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
does have some appeal issues, and y'all are gonna appeal the case, and we hope everything goes in his favor, because for marijuana and then majority of it being CBD, they went over, above and beyond with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're talking scientific. There was nothing there that proved it was even marijuana.
Yeah, so they didn't even do a chemist test
No.
So that
And
can happen.
then anybody that knows anything on the law, and I'm certainly for the listeners, I'm nowhere in the legal field or anything, but I will research case law. I am a researcher by by career. I'm a researcher, so I did research a lot of case law, and the case law that I found, even in Oklahoma, you're not even supposed to bring in a prior if it's over 10 years old.
And they used his prior against him in the trial.
Absolutely. 33 and 12 years. And that's what they used.
Yeah, I'm sure they definitely not supposed to do that. Even and he didn't testify. His priors wasn't even supposed to be, you know,
Wasn't even
addressed.
supposed to be brought in.
Yeah,
Wasn't even supposed to be brought in. So yeah, it was a kangaroo court. It really was. But he has a lot of support from way high up. And you know me, DZ.
yeah,
And I enrolled everybody, okay?
right.
And I'm going out and talking to people. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And let me tell you something else to even think of. How do you give somebody 2 years of probation, or yeah, probation is what it's called. What did he call it?
Probation. Yeah, 2 years
Oh,
of probation
okay.
for the marijuana.
Yeah, how do you give somebody 2 years of probation and then you give you're gonna offer their co-defender 8 years?
Yeah,
Huh? I mean, we talking about we talking about way back in the day, 5 years ago. You get two, you get eight. Come on,
yeah,
you see what I'm saying? And then another thing, you got 18 years. Okay, when you start counting, they say 18 years. Okay, I don't believe it, but you start counting, you say 18 years, but then a man or a woman is not supposed to be punished for their right to go to trial. If that is their right. But you know what? You get punished for going to trial.
yeah. The legal system definitely is, corrupt, and a lot of times, they're in cahoots with each other. They go
Right.
to lunch together, and they definitely go and hang out with each other. So in that area, it sounds like it's very, very racist. So they target. And to ask this, the female, was she African American or white?
No, that's what I mentioned. She was white.
So
That's what even got him pulled over. She was white.
so she was a white female and got probation, and it was hers. It
Uh huh.
wasn't his. He's an African American, and they want to roof him.
Exactly. And even at that time when they was trying to give her 2 years, they was trying to give him 8 years probation.
Yeah,
And you're like, no, it's not mine. I'm not taking it. You know.
yeah,
And then look at how what it's doing to him. He's a strong young man. He really is. And he'll be all right. I'm talking to him every day. He'll be all right. But look at to what it does to his character on the internet. What people do to him. You see it. All that is
yeah,
dragging him. And so, anyway, that's one of the reasons why I'm here. I'm just giving the true stories of what's true. And, people are going to hear a lot of different things, but I'm just sharing what's true.
yeah. And we appreciate you definitely letting us know what was going on, and everybody got to hear from the direct source, so they can know the truth and not what everybody is speculating.
Okay. And DZ, I thank you again very much for allowing me to come on your platform. And I thank all of your fans for listening. And I think you're just doing a great job, because when I listen to your show, I listen to it because you are speaking truth to power, and I appreciate you for that.
And I really appreciate you supporting the channel. And we're gonna continue to keep it real, and that's just all I know, raw and authentic.
That's right. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to call it a night.
I appreciate you calling in, Miss Betty.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
All right, later. Yeah. So Everybody, y'all heard it from Miss Betty herself, Jay Diggs' mom, and she broke it down what's going on with Jay Diggs. So, all the people out there speculating, making up what they want to make up about the case, assuming, Miss Betty spoke about it and, she kept it real. So hopefully everything goes in the favor of Jay Diggs, which I think it will, especially, when you got somebody on the street that is able to push the line, especially when they violate your constitutional rights, your attorney not doing what they're supposed to do. Because being real, these attorneys, they be working together straight up. And I know this for a fact. These attorneys, they work together. The prosecutor, the defense attorney, and the judge, they all go to the same school. They're all attorneys. The hand of one is the hand of all. They all work together. They all be, doing things on one accord. They give one person up. They let one person go. It's like they doing what they want to do. It's their game. That's why you got to be mindful out in the streets. And a lot of people, really don't understand that it's their game. They make the rules as they go. And with the laws, they got so many different things that are placed within inside the law that it'll confuse you. You might be looking at something one way, and then they'll go over and use some other terminology, why you don't do it this way, why it's supposed to be that way. And they got different loopholes, how they run game on people, So definitely the law is, rigged to a certain extent. That's why you got to be mindful out here who you're around. So, when we see people like WACK running around the internet threatening people all the time, you know what's going on. That man working with them people. They won't allow you to do that, man. And in certain cities and towns, they definitely be biased. Yeah. And they always expect black people not to know the law. I'm telling y'all this right now, and this is a fact. Black people, they expect you not to know the law at all. That's why they handle us a certain way. They know a lot of black people be out here doing certain things, be around certain people, and they expect you not to know nothing. So when you go in them courtrooms, they already got it planned out to manipulate the situation, whereas though you don't understand. You in there thinking that you having a fair proceeding, and ain't nothing fair about this. You just the pawn in the game. You know what I'm saying?